But white folks are largely professional gaslighters when it comes to race. We are professional liars when it comes to race. It's part of white supremacy and how it functions and how it works. From the very first African that was enslaved, we have been gaslighting black folks as white people. That's our culture, that's our tradition, that's our indoctrination, and that's what we do, and that's what we do best. We lie every single day. And we lie to black people, we lie to each other, we lie to ourselves about race. We gaslight. Gaslight, if you don't know, it's a psychological term. It's where the abuser tells the victim that this reality of you being abused is not really happening. It's just something in your imagination. You're being paranoid. You're being too sensitive. All this abuse is not real. And if it is real, it's only because you deserved it. I was trying to help you. It's justified somehow. We have always justified our racism. And if we're not justifying it, we're denying it. If we're not denying it, then we're deflecting it. The last thing white people would do is simply acknowledge the truth racially. That's why I say we're bullshit artists. We are professional fucking liars and gaslighters. That's exactly what we do as white people, and that's the fucking truth. And if you deny it, you're a fucking liar. 90% of white people today, right now in America, no matter how young or how old, we've been so profoundly indoctrinated that we cannot simply acknowledge the truth racially. Can't do it. And if we do it, there's a but or a deflection. Can't do it. 90% of us will not do it. So this is why we are gaslighting academically. This is why Black history all around America right now is being criminalized. That tradition of gaslighting, that tradition of hiding, that tradition of pretending racism is not real, is their educational system. And they want to protect that tradition. They do not want the truth to be out. People know that the hope is with the younger generation. Isn't that what they always say? I hope the younger people, I hope the next generation will do better. They know that if the truth ever gets taught racially, that's why CRT is banned. That's why if you talk about race, it's banned. All around America, states, counties, schools, teachers, threat of arrest, black stories, beautiful black books, banned, erased, censored, libraries empty. Criminalization of black history, folks. Because why? Because white people are racist. White people are all about denying. White people are all about gaslighting. That's our tradition. Deny, deflect, never teach the truth, never acknowledge the truth. Because if we do, if we teach the truth, what will happen? White supremacy could be threatened. Economic advantages for white people, the dominant position, could be threatened. They're threatened, like all bullies are threatened. They're threatened by their victims. So of course they don't want the truth to be taught. So what do? They keep it whitewashed. They keep the lies perpetrating, the narratives, the whitewashing. Pretend George Washington, Andrew Jackson were heroes, as they owned hundreds of slaves. Keep pretending. Keep denying, keep whitewashing. Let's not learn about black heroes. Let's not learn about black stories. Let's not learn about black history. Let's not learn about black contributions. Why? Because that would be the truth. And that's not our tradition. We're supposed to promote whiteness. That's how white nationalism works.
All I got to say is, wow, touche. So let's get straight into this lesson. But this man here told nothing but the truth. And that was heavy right there. I never saw, a so-called white man break it down to that degree. So let's get into this lesson. First off, let me open up with the first scripture. But everything is coming out because we're at the end. And the truth is going to prevail. You know what I'm saying? And Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah is moving through the earth. Let's get into the Habakkuk 2:16. King James Bible, Habakkuk 2:16. Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All right, so you so-called white people live in a delusional reality, man. All right, and as he broke it down, it's many things to break down with you devils, man. All right, so that's why we always got our hands full going into you devil's madness. You know what I'm saying? Let's go right here. New Living Translation. It says, but soon it will be your turn to be disgraced. And that's what you're seeing right now. Come drink and be exposed. Drink from the cup of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua judgment, and all your glory will be turned to shame. All right, so that's what you saw this this man go into. Salakia. 1 second. 1 second. All right, Salakia. And this is the fall of Babylon, the great America. I like this picture here, but let's get into these devils' history. So I've showed this picture before, going into how these devils came over here and subdued, subjugated, raped, robbed, and stole the land of our brothers, the so-called Native Americans, so-called Mexicans, so on and so forth, and subjugated them under Christianity. And all these lies have been broken down with truth. It's many, many things to cover. We don't even have enough time, within a lifetime to cover all this devil ill dealings, these atrocities, these crimes. All right, his brainwashing, his whitewashing. All right. So you can see right here, as they took over all these lands, they just took the land, broke treaties, killed people, killed babies, 1784 to 1819. As you see, they took over more territory right here in the middle to the left, 1820 to 1839. And you could just see the map, man, until these devils completely took over with their manifest destiny. So let me read this real quick. It says doctrine of discovery versus unceded land. It says European colonists, which is no such thing as European people. These are Edomites. Arriving in this part of the world, proceeded to steal the land from the indigenous people, which indigenous mean people that was already here, which would be the Northern Kingdom Israelites, using the pretext that they had discovered a new land. You can't discover something that's already people here. You stole the land. It says the doctrine of discovery was used to dehumanize, exploit, and subjugate indigenous people and dispossesses them of their most basic rights. This resulted in policies and practices based on advocating superiority of peoples or individuals on the basis of national origin or racial, religious, ethnic, or cultural differences. Right here. It says the map you see here chronicles the expropriation, Salakia, of indigenous lands from 1784 through 1897. Treaties made during this period were often broken. All of them was broken, resulting in further land grabs by settlers, which would be the so-called white man. While this map pertains to the United States, similar scenarios occurred throughout the hemisphere. They did this everywhere they went, all through the Americas, all through so-called Africa. All right. It says indigenous people would have asked for their land back. In a very few cases, they reached this goal. Indigenous people call all this unceded land or stolen land. That's why you known as the devil. This is most of this book. I recommend you brothers and you sisters get this book, How White Folks Got So Rich. And I'm gonna read some of these this context out of this book, the chapters or whatever. It says working hard or hardly working. It says the Indian land grab when they stole all the land. It says slavery, the most profitable business of all time. So you know how America was built off slavery. That side became Babylon the Great, this great empire. It says sugar and cotton to oil, whites gotta have it. Jim Crow laws, more money for us, new slavery, sharecropping, predatory lending. Religious racism, the curse of Ham, as I did a lesson on that. It says labor unions, racial cleansing of American labor. White domestic terrorism, they go your KKK and all these other groups that terrorize Jake. It gets us some more. It says president of white supremacy, and all these presidents own slaves. All right, Woodrow Wilson, the stock market race roulette, the public education, the sundown towns is heavy. Now, no Lord willing, I'm gonna be going into some lessons on these different subjects. It says Homestead Act, the land is our land. It says farmers home administration for white farmers only. Public housing, the projects, all this. See, man, it goes on and on and on. It says Social Security and pensions for white workers only. Unemployment insurance for whites only. The Negro Removal Act. Minimum wage law for whites only. Man. It says the black tax. I'm just kind of going through them. It says mortgages for whites, vets only. Slovakia, the GI Bill, white veteran programs. All right. Healthcare, sick care. Police power, keep blacks in their place. Prison industry. War on black drug dealers. Race manufacturing. Man, it's Hollywood and racial propaganda. It's too much to cover, man. It's just heavy. I think I'm gonna do a part 2. But right here, it says Homestead Act. This land is our land. For 300 years, billions of dollars worth of Native American lands were granted to so-called whites only. You hear this? Other huge blocks of land were sold to whites for only $1 per acre. Think about how much generation of wealth these so-called white people have built off that. We couldn't even buy homes. We couldn't get mortgages. We couldn't get approved for nothing. It says federal programs like the Preemption Act, 1830, and the Mineral Leasing Act, 1920. And many similar state programs were used to confiscate land belonging to the indigenous people to give exclusively to Caucasian, you so-called white people, you Edomites. It says ultimately the land mass of the United States came to comprise 2.4 billion acres. Wow. Salakia. It says the Homestead Act is probably the most rewarding affirmative action program American whites have ever given themselves. Beginning in 1865, 250 million acres of land were given away to white families, so-called, many of whom had actually participated in the Southern Confederate Rebellion against America. As many as 640 free acres for Salakia. They could cut off there. But yeah, and they gave you this too. And this was seared in our people conscience when they think about the Messiah. They gave you everything that I went down at them table of contents on that How White Folks Got So Rich book. It's heavy, man. It's been, these devils are just on another level with it, man. And that's why Jake all messed up in the head right now. Our people have been completely destroyed. Hosea 4:6. All right, so I'm going to go into a part 2 to get more into this information. See you in the next one.